It is March 21st. It is day 60 of Trump's presidency, and it's a Friday, so that's something positive. I got the job, which is very exciting. I have a lot of feelings about it because I'm going to be leaving a team that I really love, that I'm very close to. That's my emotional support pile of laundry that will hopefully be disappearing over this weekend. I have so much housework to do. Those extra interview preparation hours I spent this week, it delivered quite a blow to my home. So I have a lot to do this weekend. Anyways, we can celebrate later. Let's get into it. The news. Where do I even start? So Columbia University, understandably, has caved to Trump's demands. Frankly, a lot of these places, and there's a couple stories like this, if they don't, they lose everything, right? And they become a target for this administration, and there's huge financial penalties, and it's just, I get it. He is blackmailing people, organizations, etc. In any case, they are changing some of their policies. They're overhauling the rules for protests on campus. They are basically saying, students are no longer able to protest inside of academic buildings. I don't know if that means that they can still protest on campus. I suspect it will be heavily regulated if the answer is yes. They are not permitted to wear masks on campus unless it's for health reasons. And I don't know if they need to submit documentation about a health problem or if they're able to just be COVID conscious. I think this is all brand new and they've just released these statements. They are reviewing the Middle East Studies Department. And I think we all know what that means. And they are also expanding the Jewish Studies Department, including there's some sort of a broad arm of that department in Tel Aviv. So they're also going to be hiring additional staff for the Jewish Studies Department. So again, I think it's very clear what the agenda is here and where this is coming from. Enough said. The big story today, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard, is still about the Department of Education. And it's now official that the Department of Ed is not going to be handling student loans moving forward. And as Trump had said previously that this is what he wanted, he's handing it over to the Small Business Administration. However, here's the problem with that. Just like every fucking government organization right now, the Small Business Administration is cutting its staff by 43%. If you have ever had a job, I'm sure you know that when your job starts a completely new process that it's never taken on before, typically you either hire more people or you have a ton of training, and that takes a lot of money, time, energy, etc. What do you think is going to happen when a organization that I'm sure is probably already understaffed is suddenly tasked with a Herculean task that it has no idea how to fucking perform? And simultaneously, it's losing about half of its current employees. How do you think that's going to go? Because I don't see it going very well. And I think that, again, here the problem with all of this is that then for people who have problems with their student loans, there's literally no one to help them. And this is similar to, I think that there's a lot of fear about what's happening with the IRS and taxes because there is now no support staff. This isn't even in these headlines, but there's no support staff at the IRS. There's no way, if there's a problem with your taxes, there's literally not a person there to help you. There's not. I don't know what that even fucking means. You know what I mean? Doesn't it seem insane that we can go to jail for performing a math problem wrong in a country that is defunding education. That's fucking comedy. That's pretty funny. Anyways, the Department of Education is also, and this is really fucking sad, no longer going to be handling students with disabilities, special education. Like, they're not going to be handling that anymore. That's going to be handled by Health and Human Services. And again, all these government agencies are receiving huge cuts. They don't have a process in place. And all these parents are going to have to try to like figure out, I mean, if you've ever done anything through a school or through a hospital or any type of paperwork in general, is literally, there's nothing that I hate more in life, honestly, than paperwork, because it's always a fucking disaster every single time. It's bad. And now these poor parents who desperately need these things for their kids, like they have people that help them read, people that help them get from place to place. There's services that they need in order to be in school. And there are videos of Republicans literally like they're like cackling about this. Who the hell? There's some Republican. There's a video going viral of some Republican talking about how much it costs to help students with disabilities, and essentially implying like we shouldn't do it anymore. So I just want you to know like where these people's heads are at. They want to make sure that you are giving birth, but then they just don't give a shit what happens to you or your kids. If you can't afford food, if something is wrong with your child, they need medical attention, they don't fucking care. They don't care. They're happy to just let us die, and they're making it really, really clear. So I do appreciate, again, I appreciate the amount of clarity that has occurred, even for Republicans. Like there are a lot of Republicans that are starting to lose their shit over some of the stuff that's happening, especially the stuff that's happening in the VA, of course. I've seen a lot of videos of veterans that have gone to see their therapist in the last couple of weeks and like found out at the time of their appointment that their appointment was canceled and the therapist had been fired. I think I've seen 10 videos from different people. It's not good out there, guys, and I think that they're messing with the wrong group of people, messing with the veterans, but I'm staying out of that. So the power at Heathrow Airport today went out almost the entire day because of a fire. And there's about 200,000 passengers that are stranded there. I mean, Heathrow Airport is one of Europe's busiest airports. I did hear some news about it on NPR. I heard them interviewing some people, and everyone was freaking out, understandably. I mean, I understand things happen. I don't know why it took so many hours to reinstate. I think I saw just about 20 minutes ago that the first flight finally took off. So I don't know if all those people just have to sit around and wait. I would think so. I mean, I think it's a hub, so probably a lot of people are flying internationally from country to country. Not the way you want to spend a Friday, but everyone's okay. There's no injuries. This makes me so sad. There are, I don't know how many migrants that have been deported from the United States to Panama. They're from all over the place. They're from Afghanistan, they're from Russia, they're from Iran, they're from China. And they're literally just going from embassy to embassy, trying to find any country that will allow them to seek asylum there. Because most of these people are like fleeing wars. They're fleeing situations where their lives are being threatened and they can't go back to their country. And they're stranded because of because of what has happened to the United States. It really does kind of feel like the United States is like got bitten by a zombie. Honestly, I I was always a little bit worried about how much people talked about the zombie apocalypse because I was like, I feel like something weird is going to happen because of this. I'm not a big manifestation person. I'm really not. But I do think that there's something to be said for like large numbers of people, like millions of people focusing on a concept. I think that there is actually evidence because they did a bunch of studies on meditation. I realize meditation is like kind of a different brainwave. But they did studies on having hundreds of thousands of people meditating in large cities with high crime rates. And there was like a literal, very tangible drop in crime rates during the times that they had those people doing that. Go look it up. It's actually a really cool study. So I do believe in the power of consciousness. And I think that there's some things about it that we don't entirely understand. So maybe we can also use our consciousness to do some other things in the next few months. Fingers crossed. But in any case, yeah, I got a little sidetracked there, but I feel very badly for the people that are stuck in that situation with nowhere to go. And they deserve dignity and human rights just like everyone else. And God forbid Americans end up in that same situation. It's totally possible that in my lifetime we will need to seek asylum for various reasons. And, you know, we may be also told we have nowhere to go, that no one wants us. So that would really teach a lot of people about empathy and compassion, wouldn't it? Shoot, I meant to just verify this. So I'm going to ask you guys to verify this. I did hear it from a trusted source. Wait, actually, we don't need to verify this. You know where I heard it? I heard it on Pod Save America. Okay, so James Boasberg is still pushing on the Trump administration. Again, he is the judge that is trying to verify what happened during the deportation of all of the is it Venezuelan immigrants to now the other country is escaping my Ecuador. No, not Ecuador. Did I just make that up? The mega prison. They sent the Venezuelan migrants to the mega prison somewhere that I can't remember. In any case, Judge Boasberg is still pushing on them for verification of exactly the details of what happened. And Trump keeps continuously calling him a radical left lunatic and calling for his impeachment. However, here are some very inconvenient facts about that, which is that he was hired by the Bush administration. And he blocked the release of Trump's taxes. It sure fucking sounds like he's a Republican. He also forced the release of Hillary's emails. So he's definitely not a radical left lunatic. I know Trump wants him to be because it's an easy narrative that he can keep just calling people names or whatever and diverting everyone's attention from the facts. But it sounds like he's actually probably in his off time identifies as a Republican. And he just sees that this is highly fucking illegal. And it's dangerous to our Constitution and to our rule of law here in this country. I wish people would make that into a bigger story, and I probably will over on TikTok. I don't know. I'm surprised I haven't heard more people talking about it. Again, I trust Pod Save America. I'm sure that if they're saying this, it's true. I just had written a note that I needed to double check, and I didn't. So I don't want to tell you guys that I verified that because I didn't. But it's probably true. But you can verify it. You could probably just go Google it. I'm surprised Judge Boasberg hasn't pushed back and said anything about that. Like, yo, I'm the reason that your tax returns didn't get released, bitch. Anyways, if it was me, I would. So there was this big focus on the fact that Elon Musk went to the Pentagon today, okay? He went to the Pentagon, and there was a rumor that he was going there to get briefed on a potential war with China, okay? A lot of people started freaking out about that because he is not an elected official. He is not a fucking US citizen. And he's also not, he has a lot of financial ties to other countries. He is extremely untrustworthy. Everything he's doing right now should be absolutely, probably is illegal in some way, but in particular this. Anyway, so Trump is coming out and making these statements saying that Elon, like, it's not appropriate for Elon to hear any of this, and he didn't. However, what was Elon doing in a room with Pete Hegseth for over an hour today? Talking about the weather, talking about Tesla. I don't know. I mean, these guys are fucking liars. You know what I mean? So I don't believe them. I just don't. I don't believe them at all. I still see this entire situation as a coup, and I think they're highly untrustworthy. I also don't really believe that Trump is our acting president. I think Elon, frankly, is more so our acting president. And I think Trump is just golfing and yapping. I mean, and again, also, why are we in a potential war with China? Understandable if they want to start a war with us, but are we starting a war with them? I mean, outside of the trade war that we've already started internationally, I don't know. The whole thing is extremely sketchy. It never surprises me. And frankly, I wouldn't blame any country for beefing up their military right now, because who fucking knows what's going to happen. So the White House, this is another story similar to the Columbia University story. So the White House has been going after this prominent international law firm that has ruled against Trump, or, participated in cases against Trump on a number of occasions. And they created some sort of executive order essentially punishing this law firm. Well, today, the law firm caved to Trump, just like other organizations have. And again, I understand, because it's either completely get put out of business and destroyed entirely and harassed, or do what he says. And if you've ever been in a situation with a narcissist where you can't get away, this is what it's like. Whether you're married to them or they're a family member, this is what it's like. They will always find a way to back you into a corner where you're choosing between a shit sandwich or getting your finger cut off. There's just never going to be a good option. So I get it. But they're going to be providing the White House with tens of millions of dollars in free legal services. Doesn't that sound fucking illegal? The whole situation. It's very clearly blackmail. I don't understand. I get that no one's doing anything because it's literally, I don't know, they're too scared. But I don't know. That just can't be legal, right? That can't be right. In any case, it's a thing that's happening, and I feel like there's going to be a lot more things like that happening until these people are gone in one capacity or another. This is the real true fuck around and find out for Republican states. And I knew that this was coming. This is going to backfire like a son of a bitch on these states. And it's going to harm blue states as well. All of us. It's going to hurt every single person in this country. Mark my words. Trump is kicking the handling of disasters back to the states. He wants to get rid of FEMA. He's been saying this. People always think he's not really going to do that. Okay, watch him. Yes, he is. And now the states are starting to panic because they have gotten a fuckload of money from FEMA and the government. If FEMA, it's not just the money though. I mean, yes, it's the money, but it's also the volunteers, people that are going. And actually years and years ago, I dated somebody who had started doing this for a living, where he would, when there was a disaster, an emergency, he had to go do this sort of inspection of buildings and stuff after a disaster. And write up the damage, and there has to be people doing this shit. Do you understand? And there's not just hundreds of thousands of building inspectors and firefighters and contractors and shit just like laying around ready to go. And they all have to be paid. They're not going to do this for free, honey. You know, like, who do you think was fixing this up? And it's the Republican states are like calling FEMA a scam and all this shit. Okay, well, I guess now you get to figure this out by yourself with no money. You guys have to come up with the money. And he's literally like, you guys don't need FEMA. This is literally like exact words. He said, states don't need FEMA. States need a strong state government. Read between the lines, bitch. That means you're footing the bill now. Well, Kentucky. Well, Alabama. Well, Arkansas. Like, you guys don't have any money. What are you going to do? You're getting your money from blue states, babe. You're getting your money from California. You're getting your money from the government. Like, if they don't give it to you, now what? And then there's just hundreds of thousands of people that don't have access. Like, there are programs through FEMA that give people money for food and temporary shelter and stuff when their houses get destroyed. Anyways, the timing of this is fucking bananas because we are moving into an era where climate change is going to decimate our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is raggedy ass fucked up bullshit to begin with. Other countries have like way surpassed us, and they've figured out how to build buildings that withstand earthquakes and fireproof, all kinds of shit. There is technology to make houses way more fireproof. We're just not using it, We're just not doing any of this stuff. It's too, and we don't have the money to quickly do this now. Certainly not individual households don't have that money. Anyways, we're going to be learning stuff the hard way for quite some time. For quite some time. I just want to double check. Did we talk about the segregation thing yesterday? Because I cannot remember. So sometimes it really is hard to keep up with all this stuff. You know what? In the interest of possibly saying something twice, because I think it deserves to be said twice, I want to let you guys know that segregation is no longer illegal in the United States. I swear to God, I remember writing this down in my notes. In any case, if I didn't tell you that, it's no longer illegal in government organizations to segregate. Yes, I think I did, because I remember telling you guys that, yes, civil rights still exist, kind of, kind of. But all of this is just hanging on by a thread. Basically, everything that made our country strong and good at one point, it's all being crushed under the weight of this coup that's happening. It's crazy. It's a crazy time to be an American. It really is. And it is. It's hard to keep up with the absolute fire hose of news stories and information. But I do think that, for me personally, after I have this weekend to process everything, I have one more week in my role. I move into my new role on April 1st, actually. So about a week from now. And this weekend, my daughter and I are going to go see the new Snow White, which, by the way, I think it got review bombed. And I think it's probably mostly by people that are angry that the actress that plays Snow White, I don't think she's white. And of course, you know how those people are. Their brains fucking explode about fictional characters. Don't let them catch you. Don't let them catch you changing anything about a fictional character. They will lose their fucking minds. We're going to go see that. We're going to make a cherry pie. We're going to relax. And I'm going to clean this motherfucking house. And otherwise, there better not be a bunch of news this weekend, but I know there will be. So obviously, I will see you guys tomorrow. Love you very much.